you might have just turned your boyfriend or a friend into a toaster strudel, but now you got to get up, clean up, and go get the towel.
So
Okay.
people are wondering about different questions. One of the questions that people probably ask is, does size matter?
How it matters is how you use it. It's very much that, because I mean, it's really all about, to me, sex is about like fun chemistry. However you do it, like size matters in the sense of extremes, yeah, because some can literally injure you, and you have to be careful.
Another question that some people have is, how do you figure out who is topping and who's bottoming, and do you ask beforehand? I think
Yeah,
that the simple question is just to ask. I think
yeah,
if you're going to have a conversation, it's good to just be open. Don't be embarrassed about anything concerning sex. Everybody does it. There's nothing really to be embarrassed about. So in this hand, just asking if someone has a preference beforehand. And here's the deal: you could both be tops, you could both be bottoms, and you could still have fun.
yeah. If you feel like you might actually have sex with somebody, you should be comfortable asking if they're a top or a bottom, because if you don't feel safe or comfortable asking that of them, maybe you shouldn't have sex with them. Like, communication, express yourself. I know it can be a little scary, it can be a little intimidating. Cody and I are talking about this from literally across the country, and obviously we're sitting in rooms not having sex right now. Tragic, I know. But if you're going to be in those positions, communication matters. Communication doesn't stop just because somebody's inside you, or vice versa. You need to read their body language, and they should be reading yours. And if you don't feel like they are, say something. It's better. Don't be concerned about killing the mood. We're not really conditioned to openly discuss sex in that way. And it's okay to say, I don't like that. I don't want that. Please don't. We're not doing that. I'm not interested, because you both need to be interested in the same thing for that thing to happen.
So the next question, does it hurt to bottom? I would say yes, it can, especially if you're just beginning.
If
Uh,
you don't know, if you don't understand how to relax yourself, um, without going into excessive detail, yeah, it can if you're not prepared, but it's a lot of about chemistry with the other person, and relaxing yourself, and kind of, and foreplay matters. Some people are all about it, and especially, I don't want if you're a seasoned bottom and you can just kind of go for it, yeah, that can absolutely happen, but you should always use lube and protection, and even more lube with
so that
condoms
goes
on,
into the
because
next question: how
oh,
much lube should I use?
it depends on the person, and it depends on the type of lube. So, like, water-based lube can be great, but it's great for, like, um, it's not good for any kind of sexual contact when you're in any sort of like humidity or water, like near a shower, because it just washes right off, and friction. It's too much friction. It can hurt you. Silicone-based lubes can make stains and everything, and it can kill sensation. Some people prefer just spit. I understand it does feel really good if it works. However, it's important to note that that's not really safe, because you can tear the inner lining, even if you don't feel it, which can allow for infections and bacteria and things to get into that can cause you problems, not even just STIs. So, my rule of thumb is as much as it takes for you to feel comfortable.
The next question would be, how do you prepare yourself if you're bottoming? Now, this one, some people have certain
Really
opinions
depends
on,
on
and
the guy.
others have different opinions. A lot of it, again, is like what Matt said. It really is depending on your body, what you feel comfortable with, and how your body reacts, and you learn that over time.
And that's really important to mention. So, on dietary things, eat oatmeal. Use a fiber supplement.
I was going to
It'll
say
keep you
fiber,
regular.
take fiber.
Yeah, oatmeal, fiber, it'll keep you regular. I have never ever had to use a douche or an enema, ever. And I've had very few issues ever. Some of that is knowing my body. Always try to go to the bathroom before. Shower, wipe, keep baby wipes, whatever. But another thing, on douching and enemas, and some people use laxatives because they prepare for the AKA dick appointment. Um, you should not, absolutely do not use laxatives when you don't need them. Because when you overuse them, when you're moving around and up and around and everything, your body naturally helps move things through your body to allow you to go to the bathroom. When you use these things too much, it's almost like, if you use too much lotion all the time, your body stops producing the oils. If you overuse laxatives, it stops the process, which is called peristalsis, is what moves everything through. Or that's what you'll hear when you hear your stomach rumbling when you're hungry. That's peristalsis. Laxatives, overuse of them, essentially stops that, and then you won't be able to go. And so you basically recreate the problem that you're trying to eliminate when you overuse them, and that's how you can develop some really serious bowel issues, be severely constipated, and you don't want that. Overusing enemas and douches, really don't use them when you don't need them, because you can really damage the linings, the interior lining, like we mentioned, with not enough lube, or especially a condom with little lube, or a dick in you, raw or not, with no lube, can also damage that lining. And again, like I said earlier, can leave you open to infections, and pain, bleeding, things like that. And Cody's like, "Oh my God, I hate this man."
No, I agree with you, because then also you have to be careful. Some people have like shower attachments, and you don't want to turn it on too strong. I mean, there's a lot. I do agree with you.
I think picture, there's only you stick that thing up there and you'd be like crying, like, if you dye it red, some red water dye in like a tank and blow it through, you'd be like fucking stigmata going on up there. But anyway, but it's really important. Like, we're joking lighthearted about it, but this is super important, especially if you're watching this and you've never had any sort of intercourse. And those precautions go very well whether or not it's hetero or vaginal or anal sex. First, we want to make sure that when we say gay sex, but in reality, anal is done by like all of us. Most everybody has done it. Some people, like a teacher in Austin, loudly proclaimed that she has never had anal sex. Clearly, nobody believes her, but good for her. But most of the population has engaged in it, straight or gay, LGBTQ, everybody. But it's really important to remember to, hygiene, wash, keep everything clean, pee afterwards, go to the bathroom after, because you've just had your dick somewhere. And this is, again, vaginal or anal, that you want to kind of get everything out, and that's your body's natural, helps flush everything out. And that's really important. Stay hydrated. And it's so everything keeps moving through and flushes out. Go pee right after, because if you don't, you can get UTIs. It's very common in women. Guys, if you get a UTI, they're not common for us, but urethritis and UTIs are very painful.
And I would also say at this, if you are bottoming, and then also if you're topping, that accidents do happen. That's normal because of where you're sticking things. So don't make this the issue a thing if something happens.
Don't make the bottom, if you're a top, do not make the bottom feel bad about it. Help them clean up and move on. You stuck your dick in their ass, okay? And and tops, when that happens, especially when that happens, you absolutely should go pee afterwards and drink lots of water and wash yourself off.
How often do you get tested if you're sexually active?
Should be every 60 to 90 days. I guess it depends on how sexually active I haven't been like out and about in like a long time.
You should do it regularly. You shouldn't like wait a year to do it or something, And obviously there's lag time for when stuff will show up on a test, like as far as HIV. And so, there can be a few weeks here and there. So that is one of the importance of regular testing if you are sexually active, and good for you too. Enjoy it.
Right. And for anybody listening that maybe doesn't know a lot about PEP and PrEP, so you might have heard a lot about PrEP, which you can take, and it helps prevent HIV infection. So even if, say, your partner is positive and you're negative, or vice versa, it helps the person stay undetectable, which means they're untransmittable. So it's okay. But PEP, if you think you've been exposed to it and maybe your partner didn't say something, or you have a reason, especially if you, like, the next day, if you're not sure, the condom broke, something's made you uncomfortable, immediately go to the doctor. Immediately, because there's post-exposure prophylaxis, which is PEP, and it can help, essentially will help flush your body out and prevent an infection. If you feel like you've been exposed for some reason, whatever the reason, and that is a way to help protect yourself. A lot of things are asymptomatic. A lot of STIs don't actually have, a lot of them don't show symptoms, or they might be a symptom that you didn't even pick up. So if you're not sure, call your doctor. Your doctor is not going to tell on you. You can always go to a clinic. You can always go to an urgent care. Most of these places do. And if you don't want to use your insurance because you don't want somebody to know, you just pay for it out of pocket. If you can't tell anybody you don't have insurance, there are clinics in your town. Absolutely, there are free clinics in your town or nearby, and you can get there. Just Uber over there and do what you have to do. And if you're really unsure, if you're on Twitter posting anonymously, your family can't see, somebody will help you. Somebody will absolutely help you.
For sure.
Don't be afraid to ask for help. And if you think you have one, again, don't be ashamed of yourself. You didn't, it happens. It just happens. Call a doctor, find out what it is, and start treatment, because there's no reason. We have enough great technology now and medications to either live a completely normal, healthy life or clear the infection entirely.
How do you know if the other guy has been tested? Ask.
You have to ask, because you don't know, you know. Again, something I haven't had to worry about in a long time, because one, I don't really have any like friends, but a lot of people, I think you kind of go through periods of your life in different cycles, and all you can really do is ask, especially if it's a complete stranger. You have no idea. They might have the paper, they might have their most recent paper, but that doesn't necessarily take into account the last 20, 30 days where something may not pop. So you have to make your own judgment call. If you're not sure, there's absolutely nothing wrong. Some people, I dated a guy and I just wasn't comfortable having sex with him for the first month or so. For some reason, I wanted to wait, and he was okay with it. And at first, after a while, he wasn't, and we broke it off and never actually slept together after, like, the more he got, like, kind of about it, not because I needed to get tested or anything, but he was kind of getting annoyed with me wanting to wait, and which made me more standoffish about it. So ultimately, we just broke it off after about a month and a half, because the last 2 or 3 weeks of that, I was like, the more he got like about wanting me wanting to wait, made him kind of run the other direction, which made me feel weird. And if you feel weird about a sexual encounter, don't go through with said sexual encounter. So yeah, all you can do is ask and hope they have. If they don't have their paper, if you don't feel comfortable with it, don't do it. If you don't, if something feels off, it's not worth it. Don't do it. Just trust your instincts. Protect yourself.
What is the most important thing about sex? I think just enjoying it. Because obviously it's an enjoyable pleasure. That's the reason that you're doing it. And so I think just, especially if it's someone, a friend or someone that you love, that creates another connection to that. And so that just makes things even more exciting and more, but yeah, exactly.
You're only young once. And I've always thought that as long as we're talking about, responsible adults making consensual decisions and protecting yourselves the way that you both feel, or 2+ all of you feel, whatever the situation, not judging, enjoy your lives, live your best life. Actually, everybody should have a threesome once in a while. It's just, everybody should. That was a bonus question, I guess. I would say enjoying it as well. As long as make the decision for yourself, and make sure you're on the same page as the other people, so that you're comfortable with what's going on, and enjoy it. Because you don't know, like, there's only a period of time we really get to enjoy, like, being fully active before your knees and hips are tearing.
Yes. Is foreplay important? I think it can definitely help a bottom many times to be more relaxed. Also, I think it can be fun. I think it can be a lot of fun.
It really depends on what the person likes and what you both like. And if they like something that you don't like, or vice versa, take turns on that. Enjoy it. Go back and forth. It's not always about you. It shouldn't always be just about them. But switch it up. Have fun. I think foreplay is really important, because that is the time to kind of, even if you don't want to sit and have like that well, this is what I like and what I don't like. This is kind of that time to kind of play with it a little bit, to kind of see like what you want to do and how you're feeling. And the longer that time is, the more time you have. Sometimes people love the, you know, like the buildup of texting about it all day from work and then getting home and kind of continuing it. And then, you know, whenever it all goes down,
and then
you
be
know,
like, okay, I'm gonna go to sleep now.
yeah, I have a headache.
Just kidding. Yeah, I think it can be important. I think also one of the things with the internet now and the ability to interact with each other in a different way than you used to in the past is that there's many sites or lists that are put together of different like sexual things and kinks and different things like that. And I think it's always a fun thing to go, like if you are going to be having sex with a friend or someone that you're interacting with, not just like a spur of the moment thing, that you can send them this paper and then you can both answer the questions. Would you be willing to try it? Would you not be willing to try it? You love doing it. You don't love doing it. And then you can put those together and you can see what matches up. And then, again, this is for someone that you're making a plan.
Yeah.
And then you can see, because a lot of people think certain things are just, they don't want to talk about them. They're really shy about them.
Right.
But then I have learned that there's certain things, okay, like one of them would be piss play. I have found that it's very taboo, but once you start talking, I've only found like one or two people out of everybody I've asked who was like, no, everyone else was like, oh my God, yes. But you would never know
That
it
is actually one
because
that
it's
really
not talked
surprised me, that
about.
people come out of the woodwork. But we are taught like to repress kind of all these things.
What's your best oral advice?
I don't have a gag reflex, so take that for what you will. Like, I don't even have a uvula. I don't have soft tissue there. No tonsils. No, like my soft palate, like my soft tissue was cut out to fill in my hard palate to sew it together. So be a whore. No. Well, yeah. My best oral advice: don't use teeth unless they tell you to. Be mindful of what you're doing.
I think you mentioned it too, Matt. That like talking about safe sex and different things. Safe sex is great sex. We again, I mentioned it at the top of the show. We're going to be talking about asexuality and side, but penetration isn't always everything.
Right. And sometimes it's just not, you don't feel like it. It is more involved, and properly to clean up after, it's different. It is a lot more. And sometimes, like you might have just turned your boyfriend or a friend into a toaster strudel, but now you're gonna get up, clean up, and go get the towel. I'm assuming everybody knows what I mean by that because I just said that and just I didn't think about it.
You know what? There was
a lot today.
There was a study with the LGBTQ community health center in New York City, and they surveyed about 1,000 gay men in 2017, and they found that just 19% of those engage in anal sex. So only 19% of the 1,000 they surveyed actually participated in anal sex. So if you are someone
on the whole, most people, no pun intended, most people on the regular aren't really interested in anal all the time. Like and they might, even those that they might mark participate, most of the time they probably don't even feel like it. They want to do something else. So it's just like, sex is just like anything else. If it's constant, always the same thing, eventually you're like, okay, well, not interested. Change it up.
Yeah.
Respect our ace people and our sides. Sides being people that are totally sexually involved, however, do not like penetration. And everybody likes a side dish.
I mean, exactly. I think, people in the ace and side community don't get talked about a lot. Or in this case, we're saying 19% of the 1,000 surveyed there don't participate in anal sex. So if you are one of those people, don't feel like that you have to do something because you're actually not out of the norm.
Right.
I think a lot of times that people feel some pressure.
There's one guy in particular I'm friends with. I just adore him, and I love that he's so comfortable being a side that he's not really interested in anal 99.9% of the time. And again, that's not to say that ace people and side people don't have sex, okay, or anal sex or penetrative sex at some points, but it is absolutely not the focus, and they're okay with that. and all the rest of us should be too, because it's about respecting boundaries during sexy time. It isn't just that consent is sexy, it's that consent is consent, and it's a fucking boundary, and we respect it.
I think, again, if anybody has questions that we didn't answer here or that you're interested in something,
send them in. We'll talk about it.
Send them to us, and we will chat about and talk about them.
Thank you for tuning in to That's a Mouthful. If you loved what you heard today, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to keep up with all our latest episodes. And we've got more than just episodes. Join us on social media to be part of our vibrant community and keep the conversation going. Follow us, dive into discussions, and share your thoughts. Want to support the show and get some fabulous perks? Check out our Patreon page. Your support helps us bring even more great content and keeps the party going. Every bit helps, and we truly appreciate it. So, until next time, keep that mouthful.